It's your girl Jay, the High Priestess, back at it again with The Blind Side, over here where we explore the dark side of the new moon. For those of you who are new, the new moon used to be called the dark moon because it's technically when the moon is at its darkest or at its weakest, or the light of the moon is at its darkest or weakest. And because things have to be under earth in complete darkness for the seed to break open, because complete darkness is needed for like a seed to germinate and break out. I got that fucking fly out of here. Anyway. In order for your manifestations, what you're wanting, in order for growth to occur, in order for enlightenment, for ascension, darkness is needed. Darkness is required. A seed can't break out of its shell and germinate without being immersed and under the pressure of dirt. Or, it's funny, I just saw 111. And so new moons are the time of the month when you plant new seeds, when you manifest, when you set intentions, and full moons are for release. And so because the light of the moon, your emotions and your ability to perceive them is at its weakest, there's a blind spot. And so I want to look at that and explore that. And I'll be pulling from the Fountain Tarot today. This lighting, I'm working on it. There we go. So, and I wanted to do this reading sooner, but such is life. I have like Mars in Capricorn. I'm 25 degrees Aries, so I'm damn near a Taurus. Like when I make change, it's slow, but when the change occurs, it's big. And so I've been in the works of making a lot of big changes to this channel. To 222, we're getting masterful in this motherfucker, and I'm telling you. So I will start eventually being able to do better about having like new moon, full moons out sooner so you can process that information. Anyway, I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. I know you are too. And I do feel like with the moon, our emotions, and this being Scorpio, I desire, I feel like this new moon and the time before, right before, like a week before, a week after, is really here to help us to acknowledge our uncomfortable desires, our uncomfortable truths, the things that make us nervous, the things that we need to change, the moves that we know we need to make that would make things uncomfortable or really shift people's perceptions of us. I feel like a lot of the uncomfortable truths have been risen to reality. Okay, and so I'm gonna be like 100. I love y'all, like fam. And so I wanted to talk about like even one of my realizations that I had. So I've been in this place where I'm like not really wanting, for those of you who like been around for a while, y'all know that I'm like polyamorous, I'm pansexual, like I check all the marginalized boxes. I'm usually in a one of my relationships that I'm having at the time is usually with somebody that's of a different ethnicity or nationality or race than I am. So I hit all the marginalized boxes. And it got to a point where I like realized, even just like this last week, I started to realize that I was perceiving myself as too much for someone. That I was like a tall order, like having like what I am was asking a lot of someone. You know what I mean? And then like through my astrology is like bam, bam, bam right now. So through a series of events, it's just been like, oh my God. And also that lunar eclipse in Taurus, like it came to me like that day. I was just outside smoking a cigarette and I was just like, oh, well, that's the wording for it. I want an open marriage and I want this like blah, 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 and this like kind of stuff or whatever. And I was just like, duh, like I knew that I wanted that, but I didn't have the language for it, or like I never let myself like say it, Taurus, the throat. You know, there's something about giving it a name. There's something about language. There's something about your ability to articulate what it is that you're saying. So there is going to be this need for us to start really developing our emotional intelligence. You know, really also like broadening our vocabulary. And it's interesting because that this is coming up on the Scorpio axis, but because this feels more Taurian, but it's the Scorpio Taurus axis. So, and we're dealing with shadows here. And so there is something here about articulating your desires, allowing yourself to be really like honest about what it is that you want. It's funny that I'm in this power pose. I just realized that I was like, why do I want to do that? And so there's something about maybe even like tricking yourself physiologically, tricking your body, tricking your mind into, even if it's just with words or affirmations or things that you're saying on a regular basis, like getting yourself in a Superman pose or giving yourself into like, you know, some sort of a power pose. It's funny, I've been watching a lot of Naruto and he does this all the time. And I do this too. But it's interesting because I just felt like doing it. And so I think for some of you, there's something about like the stance of your body, your posture, the way you're holding yourself. Even like standing it, read that article about power poses. Like standing in like a power pose before you go into a harsh meeting or before you go into an interview, or, you know, something of that, something that has applied pressure or stressed you out in some sort of way. I feel like you doing, there's something about shifting the stance in your body. This also even could be from like yoga or like maybe going to the chiropractor or something, getting an alignment done, but interesting. There is something here about like being in your power more, or like feeling your power in your body. So there's that. Maybe lean more into that. I like that for us. This fly is still in here. Forgive me if you hear it. What's up? It's your girl Jay, the High Priestess. Back at it. And this new moon that we're having in Scorpio is happening on November 13th. Technically, it's the 13th because it's happening at 2:27. That's my lucky number. 2:27 a.m. Mountain Time, 4:27 a.m. Eastern Time, and it's happening at 20 degrees Scorpio. So this is deep in, like, you know, the beginning of the last decan of Scorpio. And so there is this intensified energy. This isn't play desires. This isn't play truth or exposure, or like, I think a lot of us forget Scorpio governs death. Mars governs fucking war. Pluto is ordeals and the transformation, rebirth that arises from them, you know? And so it's like, I think we've gotten a heavy like dose of like what humanity is capable of, 111 on the clock, and there's this like reset that's happening in the collective. And with this being the dark side of the new moon that we're exploring, I feel like by way of all this chaos, by way of all of this like inhumane behavior that we're witnessing within the predator class. I don't call them the elite. They are not the elite. They are fucking predators. Anyway, so in the fucking apex predator class, there's even all this like dark stuff that's coming to light, the darkest of the dark. I lost my train of thought. But it just feels like the seeds that we want to plant are changing. Like, I feel like we're getting out of that really superficial bullshit. I need to manifest money and I want to secure the bag and blah, 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 blah. It's like, have you secured your soul? Have you secured a fucking, like, mindset? Have you secured a purpose or a goal in this bitch? Can we secure a community? Can we secure, like, the healing of our, and embracing of our, like, unhomed brethren? Kinfolk, you know, like, I just feel like, I've been saying this for years, but I just feel like or I've just been saying it for a year, I feel like, but it just keeps getting worse every time I have to say it. But it's like the pimple is popping. All of the fucking gross impurities have to come out, have to be exposed, have to come out so that the skin can heal. You know, and it feels like it has to come to a head. We have to be able to see it. That's how we break the cycle. That's how we opt out of letting history repeat itself. You know, and so with this new moon in Scorpio, this is a time to really like figure out what the fuck you want. What is your desire? What can you create? What do you want to co-create? This is like, I feel like one of the most important new moons of the year, honestly. This is like the darkest of the dark moons, you know? And, it's interesting where this new moon is a time that you're being asked to plant your seed of desire, to plant like what it is that you want to materialize into your actual life. Scorpio is asking you to reevaluate your relationship to desire. Are your desires actually obsessions? Are the things that you're desiring actually good for you? Like, are you desiring something that's actually healthy? Are your desires yours? Or is it what the Instagram algorithm has placed inside of you? And it may not be you, it may be people around you as well. You know what I mean? There could just be like you starting to like see like, damn, this shit is superficial as fuck. Damn, there's no depth here. Damn, there's no substance here. Damn, there's this soundness of this foundation is fucked. This is not structurally sound. This doesn't make sense. I just feel like there's this like, we can't unsee the truth that's coming out. We can't, and it's not just on a governmental, like collective, you know, global scale, though it is, but it's happening. The macro is absolutely a reflection of the micro. And I feel like on the micro level within us, there is just like, damn, you've been out here acting like that. Damn, you've fallen off like this, or damn, like, remember what we stood for. Remember how, well, you know, like there's just these realizations. The sun, what we know about ourselves to be true. The sun, the source of light that reveals and illuminates. The sun, our vitality, it's in Scorpio. And that is, that darkness hits different. Like, seriously. So I do feel like we are being asked to explore, if not heal, our relationship to desire, and to really like tune in and check in, like what you're desiring. Is this like fucking ridiculous? Is this super capitalistic? Like honestly, I feel like that's what's really happening. There's like this breaking down of like capitalism that's starting to really like, and it's going to be interesting to watch. Anyway, and so here also with the moon being here, are your feelings and desires running your life? Or are you allowing source to steer? You are a spirit having a human experience, and your spirit needs to be in the driver's seat. Source needs to be steering. The God of your understanding needs to be steering. not you and your reasoning mind. You're missing the majority, like 75% of the picture. If you're in this place where you're just observing and experiencing and living life through the lens of seeing is believing and logic only and fact only, there's like a whole other like realm that is very tangible around you, but also is not, you know. And so anyway, you just may want to get around people who like aren't into, like if you're around a bunch of like people who don't trust their magic or play with their magic, like I just feel like we're gonna start feeling like uncomfortable around people who not uncomfortable or like they're, I mean it could be uncomfortable, but there could just be like this like kind of division that may even be being felt, where it's just like it's not mean girls, you can't sit with us, though some people are absolutely going to operate that way. It feels very like, damn, keep your no magic having ass away from me. Like I don't want to be around all of like your doubting Thomas comments and ways. Like some conversations are dangerous. Sometimes like you just having like this conversation with people who you know are just so pessimistic, and I'm just letting you know you'll get to a point and there are going to be people who like that. I know I just felt hit somebody's nerve, but like if you are around people who spend a lot of time in doubt and like you spend a lot of your energy lifting them up and trying to like rebuild them and blah blah blah, I'm just letting you know there's going to be shifts in those connections big time, because I do feel like we are in the age of information, and we're in this position where we all have the opportunity to learn. We all have the opportunity to explore. We all have, like, every single person has gotten an opportunity to see some piece of content or read something that has challenged their beliefs, and they made a conscious decision to either like question or to like blindly just like turn off the thinking cap, throw away the thinking cap. You know what I mean? And it's gonna start to, you know, I just feel like I'm just, for some reason, I'm tapping into a sense of division. And so there could just be something where, you know, that's a lot of what's happening, where there's just like this, like lots of line drawing in the sand, like lots of people drawing lines in the sand. Choose a side, you're this, you're that. And I can empathize with the division that you're feeling, and how drained you may be feeling, and how tired of explaining and educating people that you may be experiencing. Like I empathize with us. I feel us. But we are in a place where I feel like we're really figuring out like can you let the God of your understanding show you what your real desires are? Because that was a thing that has been coming up where, and I feel like we've been talking about that for a while. Like a lot of us have been spending a lot of time trying to manifest money, when what we really want is security or stability or a certain level of comfortability. It doesn't have to be keeping up with the fucking Kardashians. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like so many people are finally like unsubscribing from that kind of like mindset and understanding the gross mistreatment of people that is required to accumulate that amount of wealth. You have to make some really, really tough soul decisions, some really, really tough ethical decisions to make that amount of money and not like help to end homelessness and stuff like that, you know? Anyway, I told you Scorpio is long-winded. That's what I've learned this Scorpio season. Those of you with Scorpio placements, don't just be brain dumping on everybody. The tower wanted to flip over. Yeah, it's like Don't be just like brain flipping, brain dumping on everybody. With the Tower coming out, this is Mars energy, and Mars is in Scorpio, and I do feel like there is this energy around where it's like, fuck it, burn it all down. Like, fuck it, set it on fire. I'll be a match. You know, like, and I just feel like there are big sudden changes. There's revolutionary change that's happening in the collective on the micro and on the macro and the micro level. And we need to address the war within us. We need to address our true desires. We need to, because a lot of us desire to do nothing. And so, ooh, that's interesting. There could be just something here about like, be careful of saying like, I want to do nothing. I just don't want to do anything all day. Or I just don't want to like, there just is something here about like, some of y'all got something like you keep saying. And it's like, oh, you don't want to do anything? So then like you lose your job. Or you don't want to, you know, do this and like the opportunity goes away. Or you know what I mean? There could just be, just check your words. Mercury is also in Scorpio right now. And so I feel like words are even more like spells. Oh no, Mercury is in Sagittarius as of the 10th. Yeah. I just feel like Mercury moving from I desire into I understand. There could just be some like things that like, damn, like unnecessarily hard lessons that needed to be learned about like what you say about yourself, or what you think about yourself, what you think about your future, those kinds of things. So, all right, actually, first off, I want to read, you know, I got to hit you with the handy dandy. And we're inside degrees by Elias Lonsdale, and this new moon is happening at 20 degrees Scorpio. Let's see where Scorpio is. Maybe it's in the beginning. There's Taurus. He's obnoxious sometimes. Oh, Elias, you're dramatic, I can tell. Damn. All right. Elias Lonsdale's description of the 20th degree of Scorpio is a serpent wrapped around an immense egg. Damn. But egg, fertility, the seed that needs to be planted. An immense seed, an immense egg, and a serpent wrapped around. So some of us, I feel like there's a lot of like dark forces, as in like doubt and fear and insecurity and shame, that is stopping you from desiring or like allowing yourself to do something about the desires that you have. Ooh. And I feel like we got to look the snake in the eye. We got to look the serpent in the eye. And that it's like you establish your dominion in your life. That's my fucking egg. Shit. Grabbed up. Anyway. All right. Bearing deeply an entirely different future for yourself and everybody. Well, damn. Condemned to hold this off, preserve it, keep it warmed through, not break into it until the signal is given. It is a punishing ordeal for you to know inside a different kind of reality and bear it directly within. But still, you must live as if without it. Interesting. This eventuates in a barren world, an outwardly determined existence in which things must be endured just about forever. You are testing yourself. Also, okay, there's something like shifting with our relationship to time. I feel like long-term overdue justice, the ancestral justice, time warps are happening. Things coming full circle from like long time ago, like 8-year cycles, 15-year cycles, 32-year-old cycles. Cycles are breaking. Okay. You are testing yourself, making sure that you are worthy to bear your great treasure across the abyss. Damn. Do you have the forces to be steady, implacable, sound, and reliable, and not turn negative and become a resentful martyr? Do you know how to do the right thing even when you do not quite feel it inside? Deep at the core of your being, incredible things are completely and utterly alive. And they will come through when you when you have fully overcome the old karmas and shown yourself to be strong, clear, and true. Even in a divided world that is past fixated and at the end of its cycle, hanging on a bit too long. Damn, the last sentence of that. Whoa. I gotta read that last part again. Deep at the core of your being, incredible things are completely and utterly alive. And they will come through when you have fully overcome the old karmas and shown yourself to be strong, clear, and true, even in a divided world that is past fixated and at the end of its cycle, hanging on a bit too long. What I say, this is the end of an era shit that's going on, especially with the Mars Uranus conjunction that just happened. I mean, not conjunction, excuse me, the Mars Uranus opposition that just happened. Mars governed Scorpio. Whoa. I just feel like this paradigm is shifted. The eclipses, it really started with the solar eclipse for me. That solar eclipse in Libra, I feel like that shifted some shit in gear. There is like a changing of the fucking guard that has happened, or that is like, has been initiated. A divided world that is past fixated and at the end of its cycle, hanging on a bit too long. We are hanging on to outdated ideologies, hanging on to outdated ways of existing, hanging on to outdated ways to govern ourselves as a people. It all is the tower waiting to fall. Because it's built on a fucking foundation of lies and hypocrisy. And this may be a little hard or uncomfortable for a lot of you to hear, or it may be hard or uncomfortable for you to articulate and break down to other people, which is why I think it's really important, or that thing about division was coming up, because there's something about getting around like-minded individuals. Even the fucking Bible says where two or more meet. Like, yo, that's where the power is. That's where you'll find me. That's where divinity is, where two or more. And so it's just like, if you've got some like super negative Nancy and that you've paired up with, and you're fighting to like be a pessimistic Patty, you know, versus turning into a petty Patty because you hanging around negative Nancy. I don't care what, if there's blood between you, I don't care whatever it is. There is just something here about like, yo, I want to feel this way. I desire this thing. And I have to like, everybody wants to be famous, but nobody wants to put the work in. Everybody wants this certain lifestyle, but nobody wants to put the work in. Everybody, you know what I mean? There's something, there's something shifting about like, yo, we are not fucking around here when the message came through that like, do your actions match your ambitions? You want to be this agent of change. You want to be this positive force in the world. What actions back that shit up? I'm sorry, I love you. Okay. I am not here to preach, but the divine just did drop some bars, so thank you for that. 22 minutes of channeling, basically. And I ain't even prayed yet. Mother God, well, I prayed before. I always pray before I start filming, but like with y'all. So take a deep breath, excuse me. Hydrate, light it if you got it. As we create a safe space for my benevolent ancestors, Mother God, Father God, Mother Earth, thanking you for the most useful, helpful, and divinely aligned messages for this new moon in Scorpio. I ask that you help us to acknowledge our uncomfortable truths. Help us to acknowledge our deepest desires, even our deepest, darkest desires, because there's power in that knowledge of them. There's power in acknowledging your shadow, that raw, uncut, unfiltered version of you. There's data there. So I want to dive in. For our greatest and highest good, please show us what desires that we have that need to be deaded, that we need to like, yo, this is toxic, this is unhealthy, yo, this is like, let's uproot that. The Page of Pentacles reversed with the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So the desires that we, this is superficial. Money, time, like even like, for some of you, it's like you have this desire, maybe even, okay, this, there could be like stuff with like plastic surgery or fillers or Botox or, there could be something here about like, your desire to do nothing, your desire to be lazy, or your desire to be like kept or taken care of, your desire to be frivolous with money, your desire, like I think a lot of us just want like unlimited spending, the ability to just buy whatever we want and do whatever we want, and it's just like there's something really unhinged about that. Sorry I said it. And so I feel like we have really, the Page of Pentacles reversed feels like the desires that we need to dead, that we need to get rid of are very, like, are the materialistic ones. Yes, you absolutely have a right to desire safety and a roof over your head and shelter, and you to like have nice things and to feel, you're here to have life and have it abundantly, have it prosperously even, dare you, you know? But this like, obsession with wealth and excess and like luxury and treat yourself and main character energy and all that, like, and you, I feel like you're gonna start to detach from people who idolize that, or people who put that on a pedestal, or people who display that kind of behavior. You may have already like long been got rid of those kinds of people, but I feel like there could, some of us like dead, there's like dead that desire to be like the elite or the millionaires or billionaires. Like you're envying something that you, I promise, I never felt darkness like there was when I was in a billionaire's house. Not billionaire, he was like multi-millionaire. Billionaire felt better. But he was a multi-millionaire, and there was like, maybe, because there was like big generational wealth in that. My clientele list is my shit. But I'm a vault of secrets. But there is something here about like, be careful envying people with money. Money is just an energy, and they have exchanged some energy that, you know, there's some energy you can't get back. Don't be envying. It's like you're not here to like just work and pay bills. You know, you're not just here to spend money and to just like, you know, have this like luxurious life. Like you're here to figure out who the fuck you are and what your particular brand of service is so that you can provide that. A lot of us have a fear of starting over. A lot of us have this kind of just immature relationship to spending money. And it feels like you know who you are. And I'll just leave it at that. You know, if that resonates with you, there's something here about evaluating your relationship to saving, your relationship to looking forward, to like your relationship or ability to planning ahead. And also like understanding what is of value. What good desires do we have? Like what do we need to keep focusing on? 7 of Pentacles reversed. I feel like trusting. I feel like a lot of us have moved into a place of faith and trusting God and trusting the universe, trusting source. I'm like asking like what we need to focus on. Focus more on your ability to trust that like the fruit of your labor is coming. The fruit of your labor will show itself. It's just science. You keep putting in a specific amount of work, you will have a result. Quality is subjective, but quantity is not. Shout out to Gary Vee. The quantity of the work that you put in, the quantity, like the time and energy that you put into that shit is quantifiable. Your concept of the quality you're putting out is the shaky ground, you know? And so I feel like keep focusing on faith. Keep focusing on like, these are the seeds that I want to plant. These are the blooms that I want to plant. And I'm not going to sit here and micromanage and prune and watch paint dry. And, you know, I'm going to believe. I'm going to ask for this thing. I'm going to put in the work to show that I'm preparing for this thing. So I'm going to take my hands off of it after I've done my part. You know? And so I feel like keep doing that. Keep, you know, demonstrating your faith with money, with time. That feels wonderful. What do we need to keep doing on? I feel like we need some positive encouragement. Give us a pat on the back, Spirit. Like thank you. The Emperor. Wow, with the Queen of Wands. I feel like we are leveling up. I feel like we've been in a place of really being diligent and focused and disciplined. You know, it may not feel like it in a general sense, but for a lot of you, I feel like some of you are great parents. Some of you are great father figures, even though you may be the mother. You know, there is this like, you're the rock. You're building a foundation. Some of you, I feel like, have really healed your relationship to your father or healed your relationship to parenting. I feel like you're doing a great job in pioneering something new or starting something new. And that could be just like, oh, this is how my bloodline thinks. This is how like I'm breaking these generational cycles of ignorance. I'm breaking these generational cycles of like blind religious faith. I'm breaking these generational cycles of abuse and toxicity. You know, I'm like shaking up the patriarchy, whatever it is for you. I feel like you're doing well with like what you're putting your energy into, the changes you're trying to make. Especially those of you who work for yourself or have some kind of like entrepreneurial pursuit. I feel like keep at it. Keep doing what you're doing. You are building something strong. You're rebuilding a firm foundation for yourself. Even for those of you who feel like you're in the midst of the tower and everything's crumbling and falling apart, it's like, okay, yeah, that may be happening, but that's for the stuff that needed to fall away and the obstacles that needed to be removed have been removed. So now there's this flat, fertile soil that's been leveled. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're in this place where you're just keep on rebuilding brick by boring brick, baby. I feel like some of you started workout plans or workout regimens. Keep on doing that. Some of you are moving, exploring different sides of the world. Some of you have been really great, like done a great job about being honest about what you want, what your aspirations are. Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Tower underneath that again. And then the Ace of Cups. Yeah, it's like you saying fuck it and loving yourself. Daring to love yourself. Daring to move towards this version of you that's optimistic and adventurous, and like you keep at that shit. You may not think that you've made progress, but you are absolutely getting closer to your goals. You're absolutely rebuilding your relationship to confidence and to self-expression. And I feel like you're moving towards this place of being very like popular or attractive, or creating something that attracts a lot of attention or is very popular in your community in some sort of way. So that feels beautiful. So for the real questions, this is a motherfucking blind side, baby. I told you I'm getting into it. What are the, what area is this the real uncomfortable truth that we have possibly been evading? What area of life is that? This uncomfortable truth that we need to face, what is that? Where is it? Deep breath into your lungs, and then inhale through your nose and hold it at the top. And then exhale out of your mouth. The uncomfortable truth is in your mind. It's in the way that you doubt yourself, the way that you question yourself, the way that you hesitate, the way that you let other people's words penetrate you. The uncomfortable truth is that you've been pigeonholing yourself, keeping yourself small in some sort of way. Like, and for me, how this relates is like my aversion to new technology. Like my life would be a lot easier, would have been a lot easier for years now if I had stopped playing about like how stubborn I've been with just like, this is my third iPhone 6, y'all. Third, because I want an iPhone, because I like a phone jack. And it's just like these irrational fears of change, the irrational fear of moving forward, the irrational fear of technology or the truth or being seen. You know, there is something here about the uncomfortable truth is in your mind. The uncomfortable truth may have stemmed from somebody or be about or with someone with Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius placements. I feel like the uncomfortable truth is some of you feel like, you know, someone's got their fucking boot on your neck. And I feel like you may be pointing fingers thinking other people have their boot on your neck, but I feel like you got your own boot on your neck. You're afraid in some sort of way to like rock the boat, afraid of change. And it's like, what the fuck do you have to fear? You're a fucking spirit. You know what I mean? I heard my boo bitch. It's like, yo, I feel like the divine is showing you in so many other ways that it's like it's ready, it's time to jump, it's time to move forward, it's time to act, it's time to move, it's time to pick your head up, it's time to look at it. For a lot of us, the uncomfortable truth that we need to face is that we need therapy. Our thought process has been too linear, or we were raised by really strict or linear kind of minded people that, and it's impaired us from having as open a mind as we could have, impaired us from having as open of a heart as we could have. The uncomfortable truth is that you are the source of your stagnation, baby. It's nobody else's fault. There is no such thing as blame. And we've got, regardless of what has happened, we have got to move into a place of acceptance. And I know that just triggered some of you. It was meant to. But your triggers are your responsibility. No one is out here responsible. Like, the world is not meant to tiptoe around you. you know? I'm pretty sure I just saw that on a meme. But there is something here about like the uncomfortable truth is in the way that you kept your head down. A lot of us may be more comfortable being small or playing it small, not shooting our shot. That fear of disappointment, the fear of rejection. No mas. Actually, what was on the bottom of the deck? The Ace of Pentacles. Exactly. It's like if you were to fucking look up, you would see there's resources on the other side of you acknowledging these like self-limiting thoughts and beliefs. And I feel like some of us have been in this place where we've been pointing the finger at other people. Or some of us have been in a position where it's like you've been taking the blame all on yourself, and you've like been blaming yourself or being really mean to yourself or harsh on yourself. And it's like, hey, let's give ourselves some education, some knowledge around like what are productive thoughts, what are productive trains of thoughts that we need to be like. It's just time to start studying the subconscious mind. It's time to start studying the conscious waking mind, your relationship to logic, your relationship to what other people have to say about you, what they think about you. There's this like uncomfortable self-fulfilling prophecy. I feel like the uncomfortable truth is a lot of us have been in a place where we've been like vocalizing our limitations and vocalizing our fears and spending so much time thinking about the worst case scenario that you've fucked around and manifested some version of it. You know, but that cycle is past. I feel like now there is just something here about no longer holding yourself back. And I just got the taste of like beer in my mouth, like an orange, like a Lagunitas, like a citrusy beer, even like maybe even like a Fat Tire with an orange. I don't know why I just tasted like citrusy beer. Some of you, the uncomfortable truth is that you're keeping yourself numb because of alcohol. 3 cups on the bottom of the deck. Some of you are drained. You're like, oh, it's just a beer. It's just a glass of wine. It's just a bottle of wine. It's just a case of beer. And, you know, and it's just like, okay. The uncomfortable truth may be that some of us are numbing, and it doesn't have to be alcohol. It may be numbing yourself with video games, numbing yourself with the gym, numbing yourself with sex, numbing yourself with dating, numbing yourself with distractions, with being with your friends all the time. We all have our own numbing agents, our own relationship to vices, you know, and we have to face that truth. Like we have to face the truth, that one truth that may really hurt or may be uncomfortable, so that we can actually grow, so we can actually experience freedom and put ourselves in a position to be celebrated, to be around like-minded individuals and people who have the same goals and aspirations and the same types of hunger and hustle that you have. Because it is superficial to say this and to think this, but it is a truth. It is a superficial observation of the superficial part of this world, and it is that fucking successful people hang out with successful people. Miserable people hang out with miserable people. And most wise people hang out with their fucking selves. You know what I mean? But there is like we are a social species. We biologically need interaction. We need each other. So don't go like, I'm the loner and I do it by myself, strong, independent woman. I don't need a man. Stop. That could also be a thing. Some of us are like, the uncomfortable truth is that we've been isolating. We've been keeping ourselves from having friends or making new friends or getting out there and telling yourself, oh, I'm weird or I'm awkward or I'm this or I'm that. And it's just like, those things about you are gonna be what your soul family specifically loves about you. So there is something here about like, take the fucking noose from around your neck. Take the fucking blame off your back. Get these swords out of your side. Damn, bars. Like, get that shit off of you so that you can experience, you can look your head up and see what actually is in front of you. Not just cowering and shriveling in fear because the muscle memory or the fear of this thing reoccurring, like, you know, keeps you small. All right, and lastly, let's just see. Free read, Spirit, spill your tea. What messages do you have for us? Ooh, okay. Nice. The Devil. The Hierophant. Okay, I'm just going to go one at a time. But the Devil coming out, it's like, hey, this is Scorpio season. This is a new moon in Scorpio, a dark moon in Scorpio, the darkest of the dark moons. It's time to face your fears. It's time to look at the things that make you uncomfortable. It's time to be honest about like who your true master is. Are you letting, is your master fear or is your master faith? And I feel like we gonna learn today with the Hierophant coming out. The Hierophant, there is something here about mastery. You getting more, you diving deeper, going back to school, re-educating yourself, learning more about, what the fuck? That fly just came and landed on me. The Devil with the Hierophant, it's like what's keeping you from the next level has been fear, has been shame, has been shadow, has been darkness, heaviness. You fearing your own darkness. There may have been people who have just like held you down or had a hold on you, or people that you surrendered like your power to. And with the Hierophant coming out after, there's this like, yo, it's time to like look in the box. It's time to like open Pandora's box and see what's inside. And you are the box. Like it's time to look inside of you. It's time to look at your conventions, your relationship to like, are you a square, are you a square peg trying to fit into a round hole? Are you a round peg trying to fit into a square hole? How do you box yourself in? Are you boxing? Is something boxing you in? Is there a certain like way of thinking that's boxing you in? Is there a certain lack of education that's keeping you from having the work experiences or getting the positions that you want to have? There's something there about, for some of you, you have a fear of going back to school, a fear of bettering yourself in some sort of way. And the Queen of Swords coming out after is saying, hey, hydrate. The way that you've boxed yourself in, you're breaking out of the box. The Emperor number 4 and then the Hierophant number 5. I feel like you're breaking out of the box and then now finally exploring, well, hey, why was I in the box in the first place? How did I get in there? What's in there? Did I leave something in there? Is my power in there? Because with the Queen of Swords coming out after the Hierophant, there's been some sort of shield that you've been putting, or protective barrier that you've hidden behind, hiding behind sarcasm, hiding behind intellectualism, hiding behind your vocabulary or big words, or hiding behind some kind of a mask. Hiding behind politeness or niceness, and it's just kept you stagnant, it's kept you uncomfortable. And look at God. The divine wants you to let yourself process your darkness, process your pain, so you can turn it into power and come out of this like coldness that you've been in, like coming out of this like cold place, or coming out of this place of hoarding, the Four of Pentacles and then the Ace, which is the Five of Pentacles. So there's been some like conflict in regards to your self-worth, which has caused a conflict in how you make money, or conflict in stability, conflict in housing. I feel like whatever it is, like you start to really face your fears and unpack your fears, unpack also the issues around like attachment, or like getting to know your attachment style. It feels like you getting out of this place of, you can't grab this if you stay here. You know, the Four of Pentacles in traditional tarot, he's the one like clutching the pentacle, and he's got his feet stamped down, and it's like you won't be able to grab the Ace. And not only that, is that the Ace of Pentacles, the bottom of the deck, is the fucking Ace of Cups. So the divine wants to bring new love, new connections, things that will last, things that you can believe in. This influx of time, influx of energy, influx of money, an influx of depth, an influx of connection, something that feels fucking real after a period of fucking, you feeling fucking shattered. After a period of you feeling Three of Swords style disappointed, all of a sudden the Ten of Cups, and then the Two of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles. This is like reciprocity. This is you like bird of a feather. You finding a kindred. You building with a kindred. You really allowing yourself to elevate in love and in intimacy and in connection. And for a lot of you, what the rub is that you don't want to do this with who you're currently connected to. And that's like, that's not for everybody, but for some of you, it's time to be honest about the fact that you want out of this relationship, or you want out of this marriage, or you want out of this job, you want out of this commitment. But it starts with like the real initiatory step is, I want out of this mindset. I don't want to think like this anymore. I don't want to feel like this anymore, because all is mental. The first law of Hermeticism, all is mind. Because the mind is the liaison between the spirit and the body. The God of your understanding sends information to your spirit, and your mind has to calculate and put it into a word or a feeling or a sound or a memory or a flashback or a color or a smell. You know what I mean? There's like, or a taste. It's just like how I tasted fucking orange beer. That's gonna be, some of y'all, someone's gonna leave a comment and be like, oh my God, the orange beer thing was me. And it's just like, that wasn't me. That wasn't like my brain. That came from spirit. But my brain had to articulate it into something that I could verbalize. And I feel like that's the crux. That's where everything is starting. I want to clarify the Emperor real quick, and I'm going to get a couple of charms out. Please clarify the Emperor. Because when I pulled that, I was like, what do we need to keep doing? What are we getting a heads up or a thumbs up on? Ooh, I love new charms. And a bow came out, like a bow and arrow. So what you're doing, keep shooting your fucking shot. Aim higher. Don't be afraid to aim big. Don't be afraid. Dream bigger, bitch. It's time to dream bigger. And then a camel. That looks like a camel. So some of you may have been in a drought or feeling like you're in a drought. A lot of us have been in a place where this stuff with the Middle East is really like, it's fucking heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. You want to speak out. You want to do your part to like be on the right side of history, but we also feel so helpless. But we are not helpless. Boycott these motherfuckers. Don't spend your money with the people who are contributing to like, you know, the ethnic cleansing and like APAC and, you know, all the political shit. Like, just, it's just time. We're in a place where we're being forced to educate ourselves. I feel like what you're working on is healing your family tree. the work that you're doing, the way that you're trying to heal your relationship with your father, the way that you're trying to heal your relationship to masculine energy. A lot of us are in a place where we're trying to apply our masculine energy into appropriate arenas of our life versus just everybody always being in masculine energy. It's just unsustainable. And the key has been received. It's funny because the Emperor is number 4, Hierophant is number 5, and at the foot of the Hierophant in traditional tarot, they're keys. And I just feel like the keys that are coming in, sorry, these fucking nails. The key is not being afraid to figure out who you are and being honest about what the fuck you want to do about it. Please clarify the Eight of Swords. This clarity in the mind that's really needed. Another key. The key is in the mind. That's the reading. The uncomfortable truth that we need to face is that our true desires are locked up in our mind, are being like siphoned out of us by way of fear and numbing agents and vices. And our 10 of Cups is ahead of us. I just pulled another key, y'all. The key is in the mind. Unlock the mind. Unlock the mind. Free yourself. I feel like it's not even you. I feel like the keys are being given. They're especially, okay, for some of you, there's like healing, like the keys are being given to you by animals, by water, by spending time like nursing an animal back to health or connecting or talking to or being in proximity to an animal. Some of you may get to see dolphins or get to see whales or something of that nature. And I feel like there's just a healing frequency that is provided by way of you connecting to the animal kingdom, connecting to like the primal side of yourself as well. Please clarify the Devil. Y'all, I can't make this up. I love my fucking job so much. To clarify the Devil, learning how to protect yourself. Don't be out here trying to play witch and getting yourself caught up in some shit that you don't fucking know nothing about. Quit trying to be a spell and like address your self-doubt, address your fear, address your codependency. You know what I mean? A lot of us is like, we're out here trying to like just be spiritual and like we don't understand like deconstructing our hearts, decolonizing our minds, allowing ourselves to like redefine freedom. That's fucking spell work. You are the fucking spell, bitch. Ah! A cross and then a Jesus fish? Some of y'all, we're having to come to Jesus. I feel like also this is I feel like Jesus came down and just was like, yo, religion has y'all in a fucking chokehold. And I wasn't ever there to begin with. So I'm not secluded or excluded. My powers and my grace that is extended to you is not exclusive to the confines of the four walls of some fucking Abrahamic religion. It's not. God is everything and everywhere all at once. It's everything and nothing. God is you, it is me. God, the fabric of God is in this plant. It's in my water. Hydrate, by the way. It's in the herbs. It's in the wood. It's in the blades of grass. And it's like we've got to come out of the wilderness of fear and capitalism. What do we need to let go of? Please clarify this 4 of coins. These weird aspirations. I feel like, yeah, the sparrow came out and then a frog. What we need to let go of is always trying to leap forward, always trying to fly ahead, always trying to fly away. Or what we need to let go of is how small our aspirations are. I feel like a lot of you is just like dream bigger bitch. Look at this tiny ass sparrow. Your wings are so much bigger than that. And frogs cling to like what they're suction cup to, you know, or whenever they're climbing, they're using suction. And so there is something here about letting go of what you're holding on to, which that's exactly what the Four of Pentacles is about. Please clarify the Ace of Pentacles. Peach Crown Royal Ho. Please clarify the Ace of Pentacles. I literally brought the Crown Royal for the bag. I just love these bags. My mom actually bought me a bottle for the bag too. So I got Peach Crown Royal for days because I don't really be drinking. Please clarify the Ace of Pentacles. That's a lot, but okay. Okay, a reindeer just come out. Y'all don't be spending all this money on on Christmas. That's exactly what these capitalists want from you. This is how we break. This is how we fight. This is how we end the fucking paradigm. This is how we create the shift in the toxic cycle of Christmas and these capitalistic like holidays. Like we have strayed so fucking far from what the actual meaning of Christmas is or what it was. So a reindeer and then a Pegasus. So it feels like there is some sort of like a gift of magic, a gift of belief, a gift of like mythological powers, or there's something here about like, is that 2 dolphins again? A pentagram, the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like moving from the mundane to the magical, from the fantastical to the magical, from the magical to the like ephemeral or ineffable. There is something here about like really letting yourself get delulu with what it is that you feel worthy of having. And worthy of like, and it's like a shift. Like I feel worthy of a partner that is deeply and profoundly committed to me versus I feel worthy of being in a $2 million house. You know, it's just like we're shifting from that. And there is this like profound groundedness and a new sense of order that's coming in since that fucking solar eclipse. And we're moving into this, like, understanding duality more. These 2 dolphins making like a hug. Please clarify. Lastly, the Ace of Cups. Can't believe that this video is an hour. I thought I was like, 30 minutes max. Let's clarify the Ace of Cups. More animals. The owl. So I feel like the love interest that may be coming in, or the new love or new friendship that may be coming in, it's somebody that's wise, someone that may be older than you, more experienced than you, someone I feel like who is definitely going to be able to help give you some sort of like much needed guidance in this transformation that's coming in. Like you breaking out of the cocoon, you coming out of your shell and becoming the magical motherfucking unicorn that you are. I love you. I promise you got this.